Okay, so happy Moon Day. I've got some codes I'd like to transmit. I've just had a big hit. I'm a poet, but honeys, I knew it. So anyways, okay, so let's chat real quick. Michael, honey, can you possibly do me a Google and let me know the dates of the next nodal transits of the moon real quick? I kind of just hit record right after my baller hit. So we're here. So the North Node's going to be in Pisces until I think it's July 26th of 2026. So July 26th of 2026, it moves into Aquarius, right? We move backwards, right? This is the one that moved. Yeah, because we did Aries and now we're in Pisces. Yeah, and then so July 26th, 2026, we move into Aquarius until when? Do, 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 hey! Do, 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 yeah, do, 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 ooh. So we'll have North Node in Aquarius, South Node in Leo beginning on 7/27/2026 until when? Somebody should have like range dates there. Interesting. Okay, so from July 27th, 2026, North Node in Aquarius, South Node in Leo until March 26th of 2027. Now, and then we'll be moving into Capricorn and Cancer. Yes, precisely. So North Node will be in Capricorn at that point in time, South Node in Cancer. So, okay, this is important because of the void of course schedule that we have coming up starting in January 2026 for the next year and a half. So until it's like June of 2027, we have about half the time the moon's going to be void of course for a year and a half. So, and we move into, so it's, okay, so we have Aquarius. I didn't actually look at the dates, so I should have just written that shit down so I could look at it. That's fine. Hold on. Let me write this down. I need to see this written before me. All right. So, North Node, Aquarius, South Node, Leo is 7/27/26 to, it was March, right? So until 3/26/27, I think was what you said. And then at that point, we'll have North Node Cap, South Node Cancer until some point in 2028. Okay, that's for Aqua and Leo. Okay, so then Cap and Cancer is the 27th of March 2028 until when? Yeah, let me take a look at that. Thank you. Until September of 20, so 9 something of 29. Okay, so basically, and then the void of course situation goes until mid void of course situation is 1/12/2028. 2026 until 6/20/27. So that void of course situation is going to fall half in North Node in Pisces, half in North Node in Aquarius. And this seems hyper significant because while we were doing the void of course testing for the 3 months over the course of this summer here in 2025, as of this recording, like linear thinking was not on the biggest agenda, right? Every time that the moon was going void, of course, for these big chunks of time, 20, 25, 30, 35 hours, it was really hard to maintain or get any traction in what we were doing. But it was pure chaos codes and it worked, right? So something that's been coming through really, really strongly is that for this void of course situation from January of 2026 until June of 2027, we want to be looking at the ways that we're doing business and the ways that we're making money and the ways that we're communicating the work that we're doing in very artistic, multidimensional ways. The cosmic astrology for this, for the next, until July of 2026, is North Node in Andromeda. So we're really tuning into that Andromedan, artistic, creative, creation-based energy, hyper specifically within regards to arts and crafts, the arts and crafts of the work of your soul across space and time. How are you communicating those things? Then we're going to shift into North Node in Aquarius, which Aquarius codes out to the Sirian, Avian, and angelic frequency ranges. So we're going to be going towards arts utilized in healing and creation and protection modes, right? Like, for example, I've been drawing the battle magic grids. So I've literally taken the concept of my art and my witchcraft and my magic, and I have combined them all. And I've told people for years, like I said, like I could see magic. I could see the lines that connect everything. So that's the grids. It's like I stand in a 3D environment and I can perceive the grids as I'm like standing in it, or I can draw the grids in a 2D blueprint type form. And then that's what we see with the energetic grids that I draw. So part of the strategy here is going to be, while so for the next 3 months, we've got a window of time to figure out what this means before the chaos code mode comes back in for 1.5 years straight. So what you want to be doing from now until the end of the year is tuning in to exactly how you're going to communicate your work, your magic, your codes, your words, your art, your multidimensional work on this planet, how you're going to be communicating that. And that's what we want to get aligned right now. This is the thing that's going to make the biggest difference when it comes to who we see having a very flowy, vibey time for the next little bit, and who we see really realizing that those old systems and structures can't come with into the new. Right? And here's the thing. This alone is going to give you an edge that most people don't have, because most people have no idea what's coming with the chaos code mode of what is going to happen with this void of course situation for 1.5 years, and then it just stops and we have almost no void. Like the voids, the moon still goes void of course, but not for 40, 70 hours at the time. Like the stuff that we're looking at with the lunar transitions over that 1.5 years is unprecedented, never before experienced on this planet, with consciousness like we're about to enter a new level of reality, and a lot of people are just not going to be able to hack it because it's a very multidimensional. So the more that you can tune into, if you communicate your work best, the something that I've noticed people running into, particularly people with very multidimensional, extra universal, macroversal, specialties, is like, I don't have English language to communicate this. Yeah, you're not gonna. You're not gonna. So in Rebirth, though, I talked about this. I talked about how when you are the one, because I experienced this, right? So after I spent a year channeling cosmic astrology, I had so many codes sitting in my head. My brains were fried, and I could not figure out how to communicate anything, right? So I had to start figuring out how to extract those codes. And that's one of the reasons why I've done so much art, because I tuned into the fact that that's what I did in Sirius, to like reconnect my memories after my memories got fractured on a multidimensional level. I did a lot of multidimensional art therapy. And I found ways to express things via the art that I was creating that I couldn't express via any type of spoken language. But then through the art that I created, I was able to start showing things that I could then, communicate on a higher level in more of like a spoken language. But, I think it's really hard sometimes to communicate certain culture codes, certain histories, certain lineages, even in this very linear English spoken word. Like, what, you want me to fucking get a PowerPoint out to teach you the history of Aldebaran? Now, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to do that. I have seen stuff like that, and there was a period of time where I definitely thought that I needed to have a PowerPoint to like teach cosmic history and things like that, or whatever. But I've just I'm like, hell to the motherfucking no. Like, that's not gonna happen. Like, but have you ever seen paint? Like, I could just paint something about it, and then like if I wanted to point out specific things about the paint, I can. But what I've also found is that so much of the time, like, when we're speaking to, or when we're used to speaking to people who don't have the codes, like they were never at the parties, like they have no fucking idea what we're talking about. They want us to explain every little fucking thing in English because that's the only language they can understand. Okay. And when you can communicate via, flame and candles and paint and, real frequencies, not just like, oh, it's a frequency field and you can feel it. Like, no, we have actual frequencies that Michael can tell you all the nerd science shit about, all the musical theory, all the like actual science stuff, musical theory stuff, like cold hard facts, honeys. You know what I mean? That's its own language in and of itself. So trying to communicate, musical theory, though, in plain English is a fool's errand. It's merely not going to work, and you might be able to kind of get close to some translations, but you really have to teach someone that language for them to fully understand. Like, musical theory's never been a language that I've been particularly adept at speaking. I did musical theory classes in college. Michael's a great musical theory teacher, but it's like, that's just not how my brain works. It's like, meh, 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 you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, wow, you're so smart and this is so cool. And I'm going to retain absolutely none of this because that's just, I don't know, that's just how my brain works. But my brain works in like mathematical numbers and like financial projections and theoretical math when it comes down to offer design that most other people's don't work in. And I, can talk to paint. So there's that, right? And so everybody has their own languages that they speak. And what I was talking about in Rebirth was not being afraid to pioneer your own language, to create your own language about your work, to, so much of the time right now, people are really stuck on like, oh, I learned this from 87 teachers. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I learned this from my fucking cryptic ass dreams and astral traveling through space, you know? And I think that that's kind of refreshing. And I think that that definitely sets people apart, and people who are really wanting to just carry on something that's been said on Earth over and over and over again. Like, that's great. Y'all go over there and y'all do that. For everybody else, we'll be over here, chaos code moding. And you're the people that I'm talking to, right? And that this is something that I really want to communicate. There is this really toxic idea running around that everybody needs to be for everybody and every space needs to be for everybody. And that's just simply not true, right? Like, the truth is, I'm going to be honest, the ick needs spiritual leaders too, right? So, you know, if somebody wants to be an ick spiritual leader, that's great. Maybe that'll end up diversifying all of their soul mechanics portfolios and we'll never have to talk to them. That's fabulous. The issue that we have is when people are coming into spaces that they do not belong, attempting to infiltrate, steal, hijack, disrupt, etc., those spaces, those people, and then leave them in ruins. That's the issue that we have. So that's something to keep, you know, in mind, is like the right people. You know, however you communicate your magic, your art, your craft, the right people are going to resonate with that. They're going to understand that, even if that's a language that's never been spoken on the planet, even if that's musical theory, even if that's paint, even if that's witchcraft, like whatever that is, you know, your people are going to speak your language because we have met each other before, right? This is not our first rodeo together. This is not the first time we've encountered each other. You know, so your language is enough. The way that you speak is enough, right? And if the way that you speak is in a way that most other people don't speak, maybe your language is the thing that they need right now. You know, and so by you trying to speak everyone else's language because you don't think that yours is enough, that might be keeping the codes and the reality that people need to, you know, your real magic, that might be the thing that's keeping them from experiencing your real magic, because you're trying to translate that into a language that kind of does a disservice to English does a disservice to everything. Like, I'm going to be honest. Like, you know, also keeping in mind, witches' languages, okay? Witches' alphabets, witches' languages have gone, you know, that's a long-standing tradition of our people, honeys, okay? Like, witches have been creating their own languages, their own methods of speaking, their own codes, their own keys forever, partially for safety purposes, partially for the aesthetic. So, you know, and the vibes, you know, we love a good, like, secret society energy. It's just an aesthetic. It's a vibe. It's fun, you know. Why not make it fun? So the more that you can kind of tune into, like, this is part of it. This is, you know what I mean? Like, the masses and the peasants go out and speak plainly and need to be heard in their XYZ. Hi, here's my kindergarten teacher version of speaking light language. You know what I mean? And that's not what we're doing here. Okay. And that's fine. Kindergarten teachers are needed too, but not by people who hold, you know, 87 PhDs in, you know, 24 universes each. You know, like, we don't need, we're like, hi, that's great. You just learned 2 + 2 is 4. That's wonderful. Anyways, back to theoretical math and space. You know, we're on a completely different level. And so it's like, we need to understand. I mean, have you ever listened to nerds talk? I mean, uber nerds. Right? Like, they speak a language that, I mean, and it depends on what flavor your uber nerd is. Like, like, my uber nerd finance guy dad speaks a completely different language to, like, the uber nerd cybersecurity engineer I dated a decade ago. But let me tell you, when those guys get going, they are over here, like, talking a mile a minute, like, in a completely different language. And you're like, huh? I think I might understand it more if you were speaking Greek, you know, and that's fine for them, because what, they have, like, a job that has been anchored into the matrix, finance, cybersecurity engineer. Come on. Like, that's normalized, but what, professional witches can't speak our own language? Yeah, we can. If I say the words graveyard dirt, railroad spikes, and Spanish moss, what does that conjure in your head? Go. You know what I mean? Like you're probably like, ooh, party on Tuesday night. Hey, we're getting down or downly getting. Yes. I don't know. I'm just making shit up. But anyways, you know what I mean? Like we do speak a language. I say rose petals, jasmine, lavender, and yucca root. And that is going to have some very specific connotations if you speak herbalism, right? We speak all these different languages, and then we've just had a little bit of like a mind virus that's told us we all need to speak the same language, but we don't. We need to speak our languages. So, that's the strategy right now. It's very open to interpretation. Chaos is art. Trademark. You know, whatever. Let's hit the bong about it. I'm smoking a strain called Vampire Slayer, you guys, and I'm living for it. Get it? It's a joke. Whew. I'll just blow that straight into the Aldebaranian portal. Woohoo! Anyway, so how do we figure out like what to do here? Well, you want to tune into the things that are the easiest for you to do in the most elevated, aligned with you right now ways possible, right? So something that a lot of people can kind of get stuck in, and this is part of the South Node and Virgo thing right now, is just going back to something that you were really good at, right? So like, for example, last week I had an old client reach out. He was wanting to just get some insight on what was going on with him right now. So we booked a spell work consultation because he thought maybe he needed some spell work or something, right? And I ended up creating like live it was not a live call. It was just fabulous. We did a asynchronous telegram situation. It was marvelous. He booked his session like 2 nights later at 10 p.m. I did his reading, sent it right over. He got to listen to it the next day. He's in, different country, so different time zones. He was asleep when I sent his reading over. It was the middle of the night, but you know, he got to listen to it the next day. He got the weekend to digest it, sent me some questions today. I'm going to record him a little voice note here in a little bit. Pop that back over. We've got some energetic maintenance we're going to be doing, and marvelous. But what is helpful to do sometimes is to return to where you feel the most comfortable. I feel like a lot of astrologers can get kind of focused a little too much on, the South Node being what we're leaving behind, but that's not really true. It's not really what we're leaving behind. It's just what we're so good at that we might want to evolve from, right? Like, I can do a spell work consultation in my sleep. To tell you the truth, I would enjoy doing something else at this point a little bit more. Well, hence the cosmic check-in. So I ended up creating this spread like right there. I was like, oh, we're clearly doing a cosmic check-in for you. Interesting. Like, we were getting an overview of like what he had been going through in the past, like really from like 2019 to 2022, like what the main themes were, what the overarching vibe was. Then we looked at the present. So from 2022 to about right now. And then from about now to the end of the year for the next couple of years, right? Which is exactly the time period that we're talking about right now in this recording. So it's very interesting. And then I just started channeling like, that a bunch of people needed to kind of have like a cosmic check-in. They needed to just kind of get some validation about like what they've been experiencing for the past, little bit, what the past had looked like, what the present had looked like, and then what we were moving towards in the future. I did one for myself. It was really fabulous. It was like, it was very, very, very on point. It like made a lot of things made sense. And it really also made sense, like some things that I've been channeling, like that we're about to be some new adventures we're about to be embarking on. And fun stuff. So it like all, just really made sense. So by going back to the thing that I was very comfortable with, spellwork consultations, I was able to see exactly what he needed in that moment. I realized a whole bunch of other people that I have cosmic contracts with are also in need of that kind of exact same setup. And it was just really fabulous. Also recommended him to come into Coven of One. Because he's got a lot of multidimensional memories that are about to start coming online. And I created Coven of One so that when people have multidimensional memories from Earth, the cosmos, the celestials, whatever, right? We'll have celestial magic coming in later, but not right now. I'm focusing right now on the more cosmic, local region, because that's where we're at with most people, is that's what they're needing, is to tune into either Earth-based memories to collect those codes about themselves, or the cosmic astrology frequency ranges to connect with those codes about themselves. And then once we have the information about all of ourselves in the in this universe, we can go multiversal. Right? But when I've worked through the order of operations of multidimensional reconnection, going Earth-based to universal-based to multiversal-based has been the cadence that has unlocked people in the vibiest way, with the least amount of booby traps activating interdimensionally and causing unnecessary, implanted trauma triggers activating and all that other shit, right? When we go in the order of operations, it works in a very specific way. People don't experience the interdimensional trauma that many of us who activated years ago experienced, because we kind of had to hack our way in through the back rooms because of all of the bullshit that was floating around in the spiritual, Akashic records, magical witchcraft spaces of just this insane fucking magic that people were like writing into these books and telling people it was like, rituals for beginners or whatever. And it was like fucking doing a bunch of really crazy shit and taking people into these implanted trauma locations that weren't real, what we've kind of discovered. So part of my work for the last 3 years has been 3.5 years really at this point, because I got told to start this project in Aries season of 2022, was figuring out the right order of operations and cadence for multidimensional reconnection and awakening that would activate the least amount of implanted false trauma triggers, would connect with the most amount of multidimensional information, the easiest, the vibiest, and without all of the like bullshit that we have seen people experience with past life work and stuff of that nature. Just people who've experienced a lot of shit that they didn't need to experience. So I wanted to figure out how could we multidimensionally reconnect people the easiest with the least amount of bullshit and implants and booby traps and crap, while also activating and accessing the most multidimensional information about ourselves at the same time. So, anyways, yeah, so tuning into things that you do very easily, whatever that is for you. I have a cadence that works really well for me that I designed many years ago. It is the Monetize Your Magic funnel. And I finally got I couldn't code my funnel out. And I couldn't figure out how to make it all like be cohesive and make sense. And I fit it, like all of my architectural issues dissolved this weekend. I figured out all of my coding errors and it all makes sense now. So some micro shifts to the setup of Which Are You and just kind of what we're doing. But all makes sense now. And my funnel finally is funneling. So, so when I brought in, like, I love doing readings. I love doing sessions for people. That's how I, figured out what to create that now comprises Witchery U was, the 3,000 sessions that I've done. And even though I've done so many, the truth is I feel like, I did so many in one perspective, but, the majority of those were spellwork consultations or past life sessions. Now with all of this cosmic information that I have access to with all of the cosmic frequency ranges and all of the collectives that I work with and have contracts with to bring their codes to this planet and work with people from these frequency ranges to activate those codes. I have contracts, Rada tells me, with 283 different collectives. I have begun transmitting information about 18 of them. Right. So there's a lot to transmit here. So doing those but it's like I've got my cosmic astrology collectives, and then it's kind of like beyond that, I'm like, well, I'm going to need somebody to turn up and start asking me some questions to figure out who the fuck I'm talking to next. But that's fine also, because it's like my cosmic astrology collectives, they're kind of like, because upon incarnating on Earth, everybody on Earth now has all of the cosmic frequency ranges coded into their frequency ranges. So by having an incarnational experience on Earth, you now have connections with the 18 cosmic astrology frequency ranges that we have in the Multidimensional Reconnection Frequency Range playlist in Coven of One. Because those frequency ranges are coded into the astrological system of Earth. So by having a birth chart on this planet, everybody got it. Oh, you want to come to Earth? That's great. Get some frequencies woven into your master frequency braid. Woo! Oh, you didn't read the fine print? Oh, yeah, cosmic astrology's applying this time. What's up, y'all? Anyways, always check the fine print of your incarnational contracts prior to incarnation. Some beings didn't, and they didn't pay attention to the loopholes that were written in the fine print of the contracts. Happen to be an expert in contracts. It's part of the Arcturian frequency range. Some people got some alternate experiences with cosmic astrology in their birth charts. So some people were like, okay, so you need to learn the lessons about not checking your. Not everybody who has like Capricorn heavy placements is an expert in writing cosmic contracts, by the way. Some of them are such not experts in writing cosmic contracts. They got like 6 Capricorn placements, so they would learn some lessons. Some people are here to learn some lessons, and some people are here to vibe. We do not have, and then some people are here just kind of chilling, and some people are, I don't know. It's really, there's a lot of different intentions behind different people being on this planet right now. So you have to keep in mind that like you might be part of the collective that is here to do, planetary macroversal work. There might be another collective here that's, they're here because they just didn't pay any attention to their incarnational contracts for 9 planets in a row. And it was like, you want to go to Earth and do it this time again? And they were like, woo! And it was like, you're still not listening, are you? And they were like, no! We were like, okay, well, they said they wanted to go, so they signed, so I guess let's move it out. Still not listening, but that's fine. It's cool. Really, again, this is part of the concept of know thyself as well. It's like, who are you a part? Who are you, what's the collective you're a part of? All collectives are not the same. There's not just one big collective. They made you think that there was by talking about the all in alchemy, but they left out of like they left out 5 words of, 6 in the emerald tablets. That's why it's so small, right? So when they talk about the all, the full cadence of words is the collective of the all. That does not mean the all of everything to ever exist. It means the collective of the all that got together and was like, apply some angles that are unknown to man, because we've had it with this shit. The collective of the all. What could that be short for? The collective of the alchemists? Ooh, what does that mean? I don't know, but it's not the alchemy bros. Okay. So anyways, little codes, little keys. I can't tell you absolutely everything. XYZ. Here's the 27-step, process. We have processes already available on the planet for certain things like that, like alchemy, right? And I can sit and tell you the processes for that. But I will say that even alchemy itself, the chakra system, a few other things, they have been growing. So like I've got 23 main chakras now plotted in the physical vessel itself. And that's the cosmic chakra system. The soul mechanics portfolios of a lot of things have diversified. So we've found that there are actually more steps in alchemy than were rendered and distilled down and transmitted by the alchemy bros. What you'll also find is that if you pay attention to the tarot and alchemy, they follow the same cadence if you can read between the lines and if you can fill in the blanks that were left in certain systems. So that's a lot of also what's going on right now is a lot of there are people who are here to actually bring forth those full systems, not make the systems less, bring through everything that the system was. And magical systems are historically complex. There's a lot to them, and they're, not quick, simple, and easy for a fucking reason, because it really weeds out the armchair spectators, right? Who want to come in and just usurp power. We don't want those people around us, right? They can go fucking read a book in Barnes and Noble, decide that they're an expert, create a certification program about it, go out and sell it for $2,000. That's fucking cool. We don't give a shit. Let them. It's fine. What are we doing? What are the languages that we are speaking? What are the languages that we are creating? How are we communicating our magic? And if that looks weird, good. The weirder it looks, the less copyable you are. Okay? And that is a very powerful thing to tap into, because it's not just about protecting yourself from being copied. The less copyable you are, the easier it'll be for the people who are looking for you to find you. Right? So the less that people can imitate you, the easier it is for people to be like, nope, that's not them. Nope, that's not them. Nope, that's not them. Boom, found them. And so you actually want to be speaking a language that no one else is. You want to be communicating in ways that no one else is. And that can look as weird and as strange as you coded it from the beginning. How much of a weirdo are you actually? Are you a big old weirdo like me? If so, you might have been upstairs. Like, you know what I'm going to communicate in? Flowers. Yeah, that'll teach them. Nobody speaks hand fan language anymore. You know what I mean? Art. Magic. Like, I communicated so much of my magic via videos of my spells. Right? And I still communicate so much of my art via videos of the art. I've just been putting off sitting down and recording videos of my art because I feel like I have to be able to decode every single fucking part of every piece before I can do that. And I need to be able to speak it in English, how to read this grid before it has any value in communication. But that's the exact opposite of what I'm talking about right now, which is why I'm talking about it right now, right? Like if you speak stoner and I say Granddaddy Purple versus Kim OG versus Maui Wowie. Right? That means something. Oh. Oh no, it did it again. Okay, so the headphones are up now. I'll stop being a menage, but
yeah. I want you to spend the next 3 months tuning in. We're at quarter four, right? We're at quarter four. Quarter four in business is a location. It is a magical fucking location where anything can happen. Okay? Quarter four can change everything if you let it. And the best way to tune into quarter four is in very magical energy. Quarter four is very magical energy. Quarter four is October, November, December. Okay? It's spooky season. We've got Samhain, we've got Yule. Okay? So when you tap into the natural energy available for quarter four, you start to tap into there's this very elemental energy, it's almost like, I call it like building blocks energy. I don't even entirely know what that means. I just know that it makes sense, right? And it's like, if you can put those building blocks together in quarter four, you can completely change your reality for the next year. And it starts in quarter four. And you will see the results start in quarter four if they're working. You'll start to see the shifts happen sometime before the end of the year, right? This isn't like, oh, you have to wait for the end of the year and then, you get to none of that shit, right? Because when you start tapping into this energy, one, we're in Libra season right now. Libra codes back to Lyra. Lyra's all about, it's the brainstem, and Cave of Brahma is the location on the physical vessel, but that is going to tie in. That's like the backside of the throat chakra connected in a liminal space with the third eye, right? So the more that we can tune into that third eye energy and express it out the throat chakra energy, the more that we're going to really tap into the magic of right now. Right? But then also keeping in mind that like Lyra, it was all about like stories and song lines and really funky magic, mad swamp energy, but simultaneously like magical fairy forest energy at the same time, So the more that you can tune into communicating in very magical, multidimensional, funky ways right now, right? Then that's going to take you into the alchemy of Scorpio season with the Antarian frequency. So you can then find that depth in the creative expression via the voice with Scorpio season. And then Sagittarius season codes back to Pegasus. And Pegasus is just literally, it's just like fucking magic 24/7 when it hasn't been blasted apart by funky shit, right? It got blasted apart by some funky shit. So we've had some issues connecting with that real Pegasus energy, but it's like Christmas energy, but make it in a magical fairy forest while Odin's like taking you shopping for the most perfect, Yuletide tree you've ever seen. And we're gonna have a small village of magical fairy houses and a train. And then simultaneously, we're going to drive a sleigh through the sky. We're going to light some little candles for the fairies to get warm, y'all. And then Sleipnir's like, woohoo! Right? And then we take all of that magic and depth and expression and creativity, and we hit Capricorn season, and the Arcturians are like, hello, would you like to design, architect, and build a brand new reality in the next 30 fucking days? We're like, yeah, party time, excellent! And so that's what we've got coming up for the next 4 zodiac seasons here, okay? So if you can just tune into that energy, and then we roll into Aquarius. We're taking all of this into the healing, into the ethers, into the multidimensional realities, into the universe next door. We're coding a whole brand new evolution of technology and innovation, and then we're just going to slide right on into Pisces with Andromeda. Drinks all around. Somebody get the hookah, okay? Let's take it to art. Let's have some performance art. Let's have some painting art. Let's start singing. Let's get some twerking for our root chakra, some shimmying for our heart chakra going on, okay? You know what I mean? We're just gonna vibe. We're gonna dream a little dream of me in a new reality. Woohoo! Okay. Anyway, so that takes us throughout the rest of the zodiacal year. Got it? So And we have like 2-3 weeks of Capricorn season before the Void of Course extravaganza really kicks in next year. So we're really wanting to tune into that art, into that creativity, into the depth of that expression, into how far we can take the expression of our magic in this manner. And then we're going to just tune into that magic. And then let ourselves just get carried into this new, very chaos code mode vibe. Knowing that if we're expressing and tuning into our magic, our artistry, our craft, and our creativity the most, we are going to see the most success because we planned for this. We knew this was going to happen. This is what's going to separate the wheat from the chaff, y'all. Which is funny because I'm gluten intolerant. But you get my drift, right? Like this is going to show the people who can actually handle their shit and tap into that desert power and ride the wave, and the people that can't. And I'm going to be honest with you. There's a lot of people out there right now who think that they are like, in the bag. And these are the people who have been wreaking the most havoc on those of us who have just been trying to show up to our own lives and not fuck with anybody. And this is a reckoning. Okay? This is a reckoning. So to make sure that you are tapped into that desert power, you are riding the Shy Halud, you know what I mean? The Sally Halud. I miss Sally worming across the couch so much. My little squirmy wormy. So I'm telling you, she roll around like a little worm. I love it. I got some videos though, so it's okay. She'll be back soon. But we're going to tap into that desert power. We're going to tap into the natural power of where we are and what it's going to do for the collective of the all to experience this and this is what's going to cut the noise out. Okay. This is what's going to remove the pretenders. This is what's going to put us back on the trajectory where we are in that effortless flow, expansion, creation, and vibe of our magic 24/7. But we have to give into the chaos code mode that's coming. And so that's why we might be feeling a little bit more pressure to kind of figure things out right now. That's why we might be feeling a little bit more urgency. And that's just because we know what's coming, and we know that we got a vibe time. You know, we got to turn up for the interdimensional smoke sesh. And we need to be chill, we need to be transmuted, and we need to be in the energy for this to work right. But you know what, I gotta be honest? Y'all don't remember the exact micro details. Gonna be honest, like I do. I have yet to meet someone who remembers the micro details on the level that I do, because that's what I do. That's my specialty, right? And I'm here to tell y'all, ain't been one fucking time that y'all haven't been ready when it was go time, okay? So if you're feeling the pressure right now, I want you to just tune into like, I'm feeling the pressure right now, and I'm always ready when it's go time. You know what I mean? Sometimes you need that last 5 fucking seconds. 5 seconds. You ready? That was a little bit longer than you thought it was going to be, wasn't it? Right? Just a couple of seconds is sometimes all you need. But sometimes you need right down to that last minute, right? Michael and I really learned that when we were Airbnb hopping. Sometimes you need that last 5 minutes in that location. And if you try to leave before that last 5 minutes is up, you have to have that last 5 minutes. You need that last 5 seconds to prepare. And then it's go time, right? So we can get a little bit caught up in, oh my gosh, am I going to be ready when it's go time? Like, what if you've got 3.5 months before it's go time? I don't know. Are you going to be ready? That's a long time. Okay. So you want to just really tune into, like, you may feel that urgency and that pressure right now, but that's just because you're tuning in to where you're going. And the more that you just tune into like, yes, and I'm always perfectly on time, right? The more that you're just going to relax into that experience. And understand that, you can shift a lot in 30 minutes. 30 minutes was the average of most of my sessions. And clients would come in in one energy, and at the end of that session, they were like a completely different person, right? So it really doesn't take too long to shift your reality if you just tune into that being available to you. So just know you've got plenty of time, you're on time, you're experiencing all of that stuff and that pressure right now, so that when the time comes, you're there, you're in it, you're done, you're ready to roll. It's go time. You know what I mean? And so just let yourself be in that kind of void soup right now of tuning into the way that this is going to look. Because we have this fabulous opportunity to go ahead and create the structure for the chaos to flow now. We can create the structure now, and then that chaos can flow in whatever way is most aligned for you, while we have chaos code mode with the Void, of course, extravaganza for a year and a half, January 2026 to June 2027. So, on that note, we're going to be talking about this more over the next few months. So just really start tuning into like what your languages are, what you speak the most effortlessly, and how you really want that to look in your reality, really for the next 2 years, right? And we're going to let ourselves start to tune into getting traction in the chaos, right? Finding stability in the unknown, okay? Understanding that sometimes the only constant is change. And if you know that the only constant is change, then you can get far more comfortable with that change, and it just doesn't bother you anymore. This is how you become the calm in, the eye of the storm, right? The calm in the chaos. This is how you wield chaos. I'm kind of an expert at wielding chaos, gonna be honest, right? And so what we want to do is tune into the ways that you effortlessly wield chaos through your most effortless expression of creation and creativity. And that's going to take you the farthest in the next couple of years. Okay? Whew, I'm a little tired. So I'm going to go relax and chill. I've got a painting to finish, and I've got some weird codes rolling around the mountains. So time to go take care of that. Maybe have a little din-din. But I hope you have a fabulous rest of your evening, morning, afternoon, whenever you're listening to this. Go forth, tune into your languages, and I will talk to you in the next episode.